Hey guys, it's Abby. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my impressions of America after living abroad for 3 years in Budapest and Szeged, Hungary. So I've been away from the States for 3 years now, and I just thought it would be kind of fun to tell you guys about my experiences coming back, what kind of counterculture shock I've experienced, and how I see America after not living in the country consistently for 11 years now, but especially after taking such a long break of 3 years. So here we go. The first thing that I noticed when we landed in Atlanta was the fact that we have carpet everywhere, you guys. Like, carpet in the airport? Why? Like, isn't that like really hard to clean? So that was really strange for me to come from Europe where there's really no carpet at all. Like, it's all just hardwood floors or tile or linoleum, to seeing all this carpet everywhere. It was so strange. And to be honest, after living in a country for so long that doesn't use that in their homes or in public places, it was really strange and I really didn't like it. Mostly because I kind of realized how gross it is. Like, if you think about how rarely we actually clean our carpets, like, vacuuming is really not enough, guys. You need to like use a carpet cleaner at least every probably 6 months or so. And I'm pretty sure that nobody does that, or if they do it like once a year maybe. And that's kind of like, that would be like the equivalent of only mopping your floors like once a year or once every 5 years, which in my opinion just sounds gross. So that was the first strange thing I noticed. The second thing that was weird to me was how much bigger everything is in America. Cars and sizes of drinks and the roads and even people. I mean, we have a lot of obesity here. So yeah, everything was huge and it was a little overwhelming at first. And there are like massive distances. You have to drive everywhere. Where I was living in Hungary, it's really well set up with public transportation. So you can take a tram or a bus or a subway pretty much anywhere you want to go. You don't have to rely on cars at all. So it's a very easy lifestyle, and there's a lot more walking and a lot more like using public transportation. So I feel like people in general just naturally get more exercise, and it just really, like, for me, it just makes me feel better to be able to move so much and to not have to worry about like keeping up a car, paying for gas, servicing that car. Like, I don't have to think as much about like how much I'm actually exercising because I move so much just on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, that was something that was really hard to adjust to, is just all of a sudden, no matter where I want to go, I have to drive. I literally have no other choice because it would take like forever for me to walk anywhere. That really, I honestly don't like. But I mean, as long as you have a car, it's fine. It's just like, I feel like you miss out on a lot of just exercise, first of all. Second of all, just time of like reflection and just feeling like you're out in the sunshine, in the fresh air. You know, it's just like not good to be cooped up indoors or in a car all the time. The next thing I noticed when we landed in the airport, besides the carpet, was also how many different ethnicities there were around me. I know it's an airport, but like still, even after we left the airport, there's a lot more like Black people, Asian people, Hispanic people. It's not just like Europe where it's like white everywhere, and then the occasional like Roma person or the occasional African or something. Like, so I really appreciate that diversity about our country, and I think it's really beautiful. And to be honest, it can get a little like boring in Europe to like only be around the same, like ethnicity of person and the same like culture and everything. So I think it's really cool that America is such a melting pot, and I really miss that as well, just having that diversity around me. Also, the other thing that I noticed coming home was obviously the political situation is crazy. And it's like, you either are on one side or the other. There is no in between, you guys. And I think that is so sad and very polarizing and very aggressive. And I understand because I know there's a lot going on, but it was a bit of a shock for me coming from Europe, where I feel like, people are passionate about political issues and they do care, but they don't shove it in your face to the point that it jeopardizes your relationship with them. So in America, I feel like people are more likely to put bumper stickers all over their car or put signs out in the yard, which there would be nothing wrong with, except that I just feel like when you see that, it's not very inviting, and it doesn't tell me that you're ready to accept me as someone who may not agree with you. So I think that's something that as a nation we really need to work on, is just being more accepting of each other and realizing what's really important, which is each other and our relationships. And politics are just not as important as like my relationship with my mom and dad, for example, or my relationship with my best friend from high school. Like, I care so much more about them than I do about screaming out, you know, my opinion or putting it in bumper stickers all over my car. So again, this is not like saying you shouldn't do that, or that, you know, like obviously we need to stand up for what's right. We need to combat, you know, the things that are going on that we don't agree with. But I feel like in all of that, we have to see each other, and we have to see the person on the other side, and not just see them as an enemy. So that's something that I really appreciate about Hungarians, is that even though you know that they are really opinionated about their politics, and even though they know that not everyone agrees with them, they put their relationships first, and they don't let those politics ruin all of their friendships and their relationships with their family. They don't let disagreeing get in the way of connecting with other people, and I really appreciate that about them. And I think it's really mature, and I really admire it. So another thing that was like a huge shock coming home was the healthcare system. I come from Hungary, where there's basically socialized medicine, which means my employer pays $25 a month after my insurance, and I literally go to the doctor for free, and medicine is really not that expensive. So it was a huge shock to come home, and it's so expensive to go to the doctor. It's so expensive to buy medicine. And I know it was all made worse by the fact that I have no insurance here, but even so, I just hear all these stories about people owing thousands of dollars when they get into a big problem with, like, you know, illness, or even like the birth of a child. Like, my friends just had a baby, and they still have like thousands of dollars of debt towards the hospital for their birth. Well, in Hungary, I gave birth for free because I have insurance and I didn't have to pay anything. So that was just a huge like concern for me coming here, was like, we ended up having some health issues come up, and we weren't able to pay for everything. Like, we've had to have people help us the whole time we're here, and basically like gather funds with the help of friends and family to pay for medical expenses. And that's just, number one, uncomfortable, and number two, like, frustrating. Like, it's so sad that we as a country have not figured this out, or we haven't figured out how to offer more affordable healthcare. So yeah, I guess one of the biggest things that's changed in me since living in Hungary and not living in America anymore is just my mindset about like the social structure and things like socialized healthcare, or I don't know, just like things that serve maybe the greater good rather than the individual. Like, America is such an individualistic society. Everything is about, let me build my own kingdom at the expense of whatever. I don't care how it affects other people, as long as I'm good, and as long as I'm wealthy, and as long as I can stockpile a bunch of money and possessions, and I don't care about the other guy who can't pay his medical bills, because that has nothing to do with me. I found that, like, in Hungary, the mindset is more collective. Yes, that comes from history and, you know, different political systems being in place in the past, but I actually find that a positive thing that they think collectively. I find that a positive thing, and I find it more serving the purpose of equality than let's just serve a few people's benefit and the rest we say, like, whatever, we don't care. So I've shared a lot of really, like, opinionated things in this video. I'm really kind of nervous about the comments, but I really felt it might be interesting for people to hear how, like, a person's perspective can change when they're away from America a long time. And I don't want to only say negative things, so now I'm going to share some positive things. So one positive thing would be, like, going to the grocery store is much easier, for example. There are places like Target and Walmart that have literally everything, and I have a car, so I don't even have to carry groceries on the bus or walk them home. I can put them in the car, so that's been really cool and convenient. I like that a bit better than in Hungary, where I pretty much have to go to like 2 or 3 different stores for all these different things that I want to buy because they don't have everything in one store. So it's really cool and convenient that I've been able to do that since I've been home, is just like go do one massive shopping trip a week and that's good, you know. Another thing I really love and I missed a lot about America was our customer service. In Europe, it's a bit more like people are more aloof, and when you go into the store, it's more like as the customer, you're supposed to respect the rules and the atmosphere of the store rather than the store serving you as the customer. And so people kind of have this general mentality there that they're not allowed to complain, or they're afraid to complain if something is wrong, like if they get the wrong food, or you know, if they don't like something that's happening in their experience. And I like that about America, that we are so good at customer service and we have the mentality that the customer is the most important. So if I have a problem with my food, they'll take it back and redo it, no problem. If I need to return something, usually the policies aren't as strict and it's easier to return things. So I have appreciated that, and it's made life a lot easier when it comes to like shopping or eating out. I really prefer the American customer service over the Hungarian or European customer service. That being said, Hungary has really stepped up their game, because when I first moved there 11 years ago, there was hardly any tourism. And now tourism is like booming in Budapest. Well, maybe not exactly now because of reasons we all know, but it's much better. So the Hungarian hospitality has really stepped up its game, and people are a lot nicer and friendlier. So overall, the experience is a bit better, but I would still say that America beats Europe in customer service. So the other thing I noticed coming home was things aren't quite as affordable as they used to be. Again, that's probably because of the global situation with coronavirus, but I noticed that groceries are much more expensive, and in general, cost of living is much more expensive than it used to be. That being said, it is still much easier to make and save money here than it is in Hungary. So that has been kind of interesting. Coming here on a Hungarian salary, I still make around the amount of money that I would be fine living off of in Hungary, but now I'm in the States where everything is much more expensive. So it's been a challenge to like have enough money to kind of like get around and buy food and gas and all that. So that's been a little bit challenging. I took on a few more projects that, you know, I can make a little more money with, so that's okay. But yeah, it's been tough. So I guess if a person lives here, they really need to have a real job. Not like me, where I just do creative stuff and hope it works. So yeah, the last thing I want to mention is just like how interesting it is that American communication is much more relaxed, and plans are much more like, it could, you know, work out or could not, and we don't really care. They're more like go with the flow. Whereas Hungarians really like to keep their word, and they really like to keep their appointments. So what I found here is that someone will say, yeah, we should hang out while you're here. And then if I don't make a plan and really pursue hanging out with them, they just never follow through, and I just never see them. With Hungarians, if I were to say, hey, we should hang out sometime, they'd be like, great, how about 3 o'clock on Saturday? And then we would actually meet at 3 o'clock on Saturday, guys. Like, it's amazing. So I really appreciate that in my Hungarian friends, is that they are pretty good at keeping their word and keeping their appointments and actually meeting with me. I feel like that's just really cool, and it's cool how intentional they are. It's just kind of funny how now in America I feel like I just have to try a lot harder so that people will actually meet me. Yeah, so guys, I think that's it for my first video on this topic. If you guys want to hear more about this, I would love to make more videos about it because I think it's really interesting. So if you have any ideas or requests, please put them in the comments below the video, and please subscribe to my channel if you are interested in these topics. Or I also do videos about being a musician and making money online, so like freelancing in the music world from home. So if you're interested in making money from home as a musician, or if you're interested in like kind of vloggy stuff about like American and Hungarian culture, just like random stuff like that, then feel free to subscribe and I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video. So have a great day and see you soon. Bye!